Hi BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I am coming to you with my November 2020 wrap-up and stats. So all of my books that I read in November, originally I think you guys did request it. I talked about it in my last wrap-up video for October about talking about every single book that I read, like not talking about them necessarily, but kind of breaking it down. These were all my 3-star, these were all my 3.5 stars and such. I didn't write all that down for this video. I am sorry. This is a bit last minute. I'm actually filming this on Wednesday night because usually I bulk film on Sundays. You guys know this. I've mentioned it before. But because the week didn't end until Monday, I couldn't film it on Sunday because I wasn't done yet. And I do read up like to the 11th hour. I like count right up to the very end. So maybe I'll start that in the new year. Maybe that'll be something that'll be starting in 2021. But I do have all of my stats here to share with you guys. So how I do this, if you are new to my channel, is I go through all of my stats for the month, which I love because I am a big stat nerd when it comes to my reading. And then I will talk about my top 5 books of the month. So let's jump in and get started. So to start off with, I read 27 books in November, which is pretty super fantastic. My Goodreads goal, I am 26 books ahead of my goal, like over and above my goal. I have read 266 books out of the 240 books that I had said I wanted to read. So no, I'm not. Am I 26? Yes, 26. I'm at 110% of my goal. That's kind of fun. I think last year I made my goal like on New Year's Eve. So yeah, this year was a little bit different. So star rating breakdown: 3 3-star books, 8 3.5-star books, 11 4-star books, 2 4.5-star books, 3 5-stars, you guys. And my average star rating for the month was 3.89. That's up just a little bit from October, which was 3.79 was my average star rating. But I think I read more books in October too. So it's just stats. It's just for fun. So for genre, I read 10 contemporary romance, 4 historical romance, 4 romantic suspense, 3 nonfiction. I'm very proud of that. I thought at the end of the month, I'm like, I think I only read like 1 nonfiction, but I read 3. So that's pretty super fantastic. 2 chick lit, 2 cozy mysteries, a graphic novel, and a middle grade fiction novel. I like to keep track of the category romance books that I read, so my Harlequins. And out of all the books that I read this month, 23% of them were category romance, which is pretty fantastic. I read 3 intrigue and all 3 were Julianne Lindsay books because I was participating with Nicole over at Who Picked This Book and Jen when they did the read-along of The Fortress Defense. I have not read book 4 yet. I know that the live show is actually tonight, the day that I'm filming this. So I haven't read it yet, so I haven't watched that. I don't want to really be spoiled, but I'm hoping to get to that one in January. I read 1 desire, 1 historical, and a romantic suspense. For age range, like audience that the books are geared towards, I read 25 books geared towards an adult audience, 1 YA and 1 middle grade. I read 1 book published in the 1990s, 4 that were published in the 2000s, 6 published between 2010 and 2019, and guys, 16 books published in 2020. That's pretty super fantastic. Breakdown for how I read them: 11 ebooks, 10 audiobooks, 3 mass market paperbacks, 2 trade paperbacks, and a hardcover. All 27 of the books that I read this month were for full-length novels. I like to break it down by series. 18 of the books that I read were part of a series, and 9 of them were standalone. But out of those 18 that were part of a series, 15 were part of ongoing series, and 3 of them were new series that I started. Oops. I read a grand total of 8,327 pages, works out to about 308 pages a day. So not too shabby. So then the new thing I started doing last month as well was what I call like a little random. I know Karen over at Rather Be Reading does it. No, it wasn't Karen that I saw do this. It was Shannon over at Shannon Riddler. And I really, really liked it. So the highest rated book, so I took all, because if you go on my Goodreads, I break it down by month. So I will have like a 2016 year, 2017, 2018, 2019, because it's since I've been on Goodreads. So all those folders hold all the books that I read for that year. But for the current year of reading, for this year, I have a folder for 2020, and then I have a folder for each individual month. So what I've been doing is going into that monthly folder and then, what do you call it? Organizing or, because you can like organize them like by date added or by date read or by author's name or whatever. There's a ton of different ways you can organize those lists. And I organize it first by star rating, like the star rating on Goodreads. And then I also organize it by page count. So the highest rated book in that list for November, according to Goodreads, was Claimed by a Steal by Brenda Jackson at 4.48 stars. So people really liked this book. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I absolutely enjoyed it. And fun fact, it was the last audiobook that I read. I have not read an audiobook or listened to an audiobook since I read that book. It's been almost 2 weeks. I feel like I'm coming off of like, I'm in like detox of audiobooks. But the thing is, I don't miss them. I still don't miss them. But it's only been 2 weeks. Anyway, the lowest rated book according to Goodreads, this is what surprised me, was actually Love Your Life by Sophie Kinsella. This one's only at a 3.51 star rating. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. So I was actually quite surprised by that. That's part of the reason I'm really enjoying doing this, because it's kind of a bit of a surprise. Like, I thought for sure different books would be rated higher according to Goodreads, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, kind of neat. So the longest book that I read, like highest page count, in November was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. The edition that I read, the Kindle edition that I read, had 433 pages. And the shortest book that I read was Giant Days Volume 7 by John Allison, 112 pages. So that's kind of fun. Challenges and events. I did not finish the Fall Into Reading Challenge. I kind of had a fail at the end. But it was still fun participating, and thank you to Tia and Rainey and Angie and Kelly for hosting that awesome challenge. But I did finish, of course, the Triple RC Challenge again this month, which is the Romance Readers Reading Group Challenge on Goodreads. Every month they give you 10 prompts for the month, pick a book for each prompt, blah, blah, blah. So this is now 4 years and 11 months I have completed this challenge. If I can get it done in December, that is 5 full years I have done this challenge without fail every single month. And I love it. It's a favorite of mine. So, into my top 5 books. So, there is a caveat to this, because what would have been the 4 out of the top 5 books were actually rereads. So I removed those and then went with the next ones in sequence, because little inner working of the way my mind works when it comes to keeping track of my reading is that I do have a sheet on Google Drive that when I finish a book, and I have it separated by month. So in November, when I finished a book, if I gave it 4 stars, I would go to that list. And if I had other books that I gave 4 stars to, I'd be like, did I like it more than that one, or did I like it less, and I would slot it in to a spot. So when it comes to me doing this list at the end of the month, it's easy. I just pick the top 5 books. So even if I had 3 books that were top 5, that were 5 stars, it's a differing level of 5s. But does that make sense? It probably only makes sense in my brain. It makes sense to me. So I remove those rereads because I don't want to count rereads in the top 5. I just want to share with you guys the new top 5. But I still want to share with you these books that hit this list at rereads that made this, top 5, that would have made this top 5 list if they had been new to me reads, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say here. Rambling on and on and on, as I do. So, the rereads. First one there were 3 of them that were Julia Quinn. No surprise there. I love the Bridgerton series because I was starting to do a reread through the Bridgerton series. So, the first 3 books all made it into the top 5, and it was The Duke and I, came in at 5 stars. The Viscount Who Loved Me came in at 4.5 stars. And An Offer from a Gentleman came in at 4 stars. And I've got them right here behind me. I'll show you guys them. So you can see the pretty covers. So, The Duke and I, 5 stars. The Viscount Who Loved Me, 4.5 stars. And An Offer from a Gentleman, 4 stars. So it went 5, 4.5, 4. But I guarantee you the next one in sequence is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which is Colin's story, and Colin's story always gets a 5 star from me. So that's, for when I get to that one. I'm hoping in January. To pick these back up again, and maybe doing one every other month or something. That might be kind of fun. So I'm just going to put those down there for now. The other book that made that list of rereads was this one, Unmentionable by Teresa O'Neill. This one I also, guys, it's 8 o'clock at night and I've just worked a full day. I'm tired. 5 stars. I loved this. Absolutely love this. I think this is, if you are new to nonfiction and you're a little hesitant, and if you are a historical romance reader and lover, read this book. You will laugh your butt off. No joke. And it really makes you look at historical romance in a completely different light, I assure you. So highly recommend that one. So there's just some little added recommendations, if you will. So into the actual top 5 of the new books that I read this month. So as I like to do these, going from least most favorite to most favorite. Coming in spot number 5 is The Last Christmas Cowboy by Maisie Yates. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. This was book, I think, 11 in the Gold Valley series. And this is the story of Rose and, is it Logan? I can't remember. I read it like weeks ago. I think it was Rose and Logan. And they've known each other like since she was 6 and he was 16. So this is a bit of an age gap. And he didn't start to really think of her in any sort of, special way until she was in like her early 20s. So it's essentially their relationship. And I mean, Maisie Yates is so good at these books. These cowboy romances. This one was a great Christmas one. Talks a lot about family and the meaning of family and who is your family? Is it just blood or can it also be friends? You know what I mean? Like family is who we make our family kind of an idea. And I really, really liked it. Highly recommend Maisie Yates, and I really enjoyed this one. Coming in spot number 4 was Deadly Cover-Up by Julianne Lindsay. This one I also gave 4 stars to. This was part of the Fortress Defense series. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's, well, no, you know what? Each of the stories were individual, so you could absolutely read this one out of order. I believe this was the first one in the series, and it's about a woman whose grandmother ends up having this fall. And, at first they think it's like an accident. She's an older lady. She was up on a ladder and she fell. But it turns out that something nefarious is going on. The grandmother had hired this bodyguard to come and help her before she fell. And she's in a coma, so she really can't say what happened to her. And there's these bad guys after our male lead works for the Fortress Defense. I think his name was Wyatt. And I'm blanking on her name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it was really good. Very entertaining. Lots of great action. Highly recommend this one. And the next one, the surprise from like the lowest rating, was Love Your Life by Sophie Kinsella. This one I gave 4 stars to as well. Really enjoyed this one. I do like Sophie Kinsella's writing. I'm finding now her newer books, like originally many, many years ago. I think I was 26 when I read the Shopaholic book, and I'm now 40 something. It's been a few years. But I found that one hilariously funny, like rolling on the floor laughing with Shopaholic. I never read anything else after Confessions of a Shopaholic because I heard that they were not as great like the next ones that came. But anyway, her newer books, while there are parts that make me laugh, are not that rolling on the floor funny. But they're a little bit more poignant. You can definitely tell how much she's grown as a writer. So this is about our 2 main characters who both live in London, but separately they end up taking this trip to Italy to go to this writing retreat. And while they're at this writing retreat, they end up meeting and they start a relationship, kind of like a vacation fling. And then when they come back to London, they decide to continue the relationship, but they are vastly, vastly different. Like like every way that they could be different, they are different personality-wise. Like his bedroom is freezing cold and she always likes to be nice and warm and toasty. His bed is like, she feels his bed as hard as a rock, like his mattress. Whereas she's like sinking into a down comforter and feather pillows. And, he likes this weird art and she likes her plants. And, he has a very steady job and she kind of flitters from thing to thing. You get the idea. But it was really, really good and I really enjoyed it. I did listen to this one on audio and the narration on this was really great. And I recommend this one. This is her newer one. I think it's her newest one. It just came out a couple months ago. I had an e-arc from NetGalley, but I did grab it from my library to listen to on audio. If you're a Sophie Kinsella fan, I absolutely recommend picking this one up. Coming in spot number 2 was, I do have a physical copy, Hot Winter Nights by Jill Shalnis. This, I think, is book 6 in the Heartbreaker Bay series, but you could absolutely read it as a standalone. This was so amazing, you guys. Oh my gosh. So our main character, thank gosh I have the book in front of me, Molly, and his name is Lucas. And they've known each other for years. It's the trope of best friend's little sister kind of an idea. So Lucas and her older brother are really good friends. They work together for this like security team, and Molly actually runs the front desk. And anyway, she wants to take on like some security gigs. She wants to help them out. And she ends up taking this job to help these old ladies who are working as elves at the Santa's village. Where the bad Santa is stealing the profits and telling his workers they're not making any money, but yet they're running this like very lucrative bingo game where all like the seniors, when they get their pensions, go there. It's hilarious, absolutely hilarious, and so spicy. Oh my goodness, it was so spicy. I mean, that's Jill Shalvis. This was so good, and I cannot recommend it enough. This entire series, if you have not read the Heartbreaker Bay series yet by Jill Shalvis, please do yourself a favor and do so, because it is so good. And coming in the first spot, do I have a physical copy of it? I do have my physical copy of it right here. This is going to have to be up on display sometime soon. The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgan Thaler. I love this. This was the first book in the Moose Springs series, Moose Springs, Alaska series, and it's about a woman by the name of Zoe and a guy by the name of Graham. And Zoe is a tourist to town. She has saved up her money for years and years and years to go to Alaska. She goes to Alaska and she's there with her best friend, who actually has a lot of money, very well to do. And there's a resort that they're staying at that is a very ritzy resort, but Zoe's kind of paying her own way as much as she possibly can. She paid for her plane ticket, but she's staying with her friend for free. And Graham has lived in town his entire life, and he hates the tourists. He hates what they're doing to his town. He feels that they're, that they're just there to have fun and games and then go home, and they do not realize any kind of destruction or anything like that, that they kind of wreak havoc on this town. So his attitude, very much, because he runs a diner called the Tourist Trap, his attitude, for those of you who are fans of the Gilmore Girls, reminded me of Luke, the guy who runs the cafe. And it's hilarious. This book was so good, and the romance was so sweet. It's actually clean. I was actually surprised. For some reason, I don't know why. I think we've come to expect now with these cartoonish covers, like these, cartoonish covers are the best way to put it. That, you look at this and think, oh, it's going to be so sweet and so cute, but then it's like, very spicy. This one actually lived up to the cover, in my opinion. This adorable cover. The dog's name is his name Jake? I cannot remember the dog's name. I want to say it's Jake, but he's blind, and Graham dresses him up in outfits. Oh my god, this book was so good. If you guys have not read this one, please do yourself a favor and do so. I loved it. Absolutely. For me to give something a 5-star is huge. You guys know that if you've been watching me for a while. And I do have the second book to read this month, Mistletoe and Mr. Right. And it's about the friend, the wealthy friend. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But yeah, favorite book of the month. Love this one so much. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I talked about? Or what was your favorite book that you read in the month of November? And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.